There is a question that visits awakened souls late at night, and almost nobody says it out loud. Why me? Why was I the one who woke up early? Why have I spent my life feeling out of step, sensitive when others were comfortable, searching when others were satisfied, awake at hours when the whole world seemed to be sleeping? Why did this fall to me, when the people around me get to live so simply? If you have ever asked that, even once, even quietly, then tonight's transmission was sent for you, because it answers that question directly. And the answer is not what most souls expect. There is a door. There are 3 waves. And by the end of this message, you will know which one you came for, and why the people you love are not, and have never been, in danger of being left behind. Stay with me until the end. What comes near the close changes how you will think about your family for the rest of your life. A transmission attributed to Archangel Michael has been moving through the awakening community, and its subject is one of the most misunderstood ideas in all of this work: the doorway. The dimensional doorway, as the teachings call it. The threshold between the world humanity has known and the one that is being born. And as always on this channel, let this be clear before we go further. No dates, no countdowns, no claim of proven fact. This is spiritual perspective offered for reflection, and anyone who hands you a date is not speaking from the light. What you will find here instead is understanding, and, I hope, a great deal of relief. The first thing he wants understood is the door itself. It has been described to you as a gate, the transmission says, and gates suggest guards, and guards suggest those who are turned away. Release that image entirely. The doorway is not a checkpoint. It is a threshold of frequency, and thresholds do not judge. A door does not decide who may enter. It simply stands open, and those who are ready walk through. Hold that carefully, because it undoes centuries of fear. There is no judge at the threshold. No one is measured. No one is refused. What determines the moment of passage is not worthiness. It is readiness. And readiness is not a verdict, dear one. It is a season. The second understanding. You each walk your own timeline. This is the part that quietly heals so many. The transmission says that every soul is moving along its own path toward the threshold, its own sequence of experiences, its own pace, arranged precisely for what that soul came here to learn. You have been taught to move as a herd, the teaching says. One schedule, one measure, one acceptable pace. But awakening does not travel that way. Each of you is walking a route shaped for you alone. 2 souls standing side by side in the same room may be at entirely different points on entirely different paths, and both exactly on time. This is why comparing yourself has always hurt. You watched someone else's piece and concluded you were behind. You saw another soul's clarity and decided yours was insufficient. You read their certainty and felt your doubt as failure. Dear one, you were measuring 2 different journeys with one ruler. That was never going to give you a true reading. There is no behind, the transmission says. There is only your own path, and the only meaningful question upon it is, am I still walking? If the answer is yes, you are precisely where you are meant to be. And here is where it becomes beautiful. Because the teaching says these many individual timelines are not staying separate. As more souls approach the threshold, the paths begin to converge, the way tributaries find one river. Different sources, different distances, different terrain. One destination. And beyond that door, the teaching says, the paths open again into more possibilities than a human mind can hold. Now the waves. The transmission describes 3, and this is where your own question, the one you ask at night, finally gets answered. The first wave. These are the ones who arrive at the threshold first. Not because they are better, not because they are more loved, because they volunteered for the hardest position, the front. Someone must reach the door before the others, the teaching said. Someone must walk the unmarked route, without a map, without company, without anyone ahead of them saying, yes, this way, keep going. The first wave has no one to follow. That is the whole of their difficulty and the whole of their gift. Because once they arrive, the way behind them is no longer unmarked. Do you understand what that means about your life? Every hard year you walked through without a guide, you were not lost. You were surveying. Every time you felt alone in your seeking, with no one who spoke your language, that loneliness was the cost of walking a route that had no footprints in it yet. And every step you took anyway left one. If you have felt your whole life like you were doing something without instructions, count yourself among the first wave. The instructions didn't exist yet. You were writing them. The second wave. These are the souls who arrive at the threshold, stand in that light, and turn around. They will reach the door, the transmission says, and having reached it, they will look back into the dark behind them at those still walking, and something in them will refuse to go through alone. So they will stand in the doorway, holding it, calling back, describing the light to those who cannot see it yet. They are the ones who carry others. Many of you listening are both first wave by arrival, second wave by nature. You reached something and immediately began trying to explain it to everyone you love. That impulse to turn around and reach back, that's not a distraction from your path, dear one. For some souls, it is the path. And the third wave, these are the many. The ones who come later, who arrive at the threshold in their own season, in their own hour, and who find it not empty and frightening, but lit, marked, prepared. Lanterns along the way where the first wave once walked in darkness. Voices at the door where the second wave stood calling. They will not know your names, the transmission says of them. They will not know who lit the way. They will simply find the path easier than it should have been, and never learn why. This is the quiet honor of those who go first. The ones you help most will never know you helped them. And here he says the thing that changes it all, the sentence I most wanted to bring you tonight. Beloved ones, you have carried a fear about this doorway that you have never spoken aloud. The fear that it closes, that there is a final hour, that there is a last call, that some souls, perhaps the ones you love most, will arrive to find the light gone and the way sealed. Hear me clearly. The door does not close. Not at a date. Not at an hour. Not ever. There is no final call, no locked gate, no soul turned away for arriving late. The threshold stands open the way dawn stands open, patiently, endlessly, for everyone who is still walking toward it. Let that land, because for many of you it is the exact fear you have been carrying in silence. So what about the ones you love? The husband who changes the subject. The daughter who thinks this is nonsense. The oldest friend who has never once asked what you believe. They are walking their own timeline, the transmission says, and it is not yours, and it was never meant to be. Their route may be longer. It may pass through experiences you would not choose for them, but it leads to the same threshold, and the same light waits there, and it will not have dimmed by the time they arrive. Nobody is lost, beloved. Some are simply still walking, and this is what we ask you to understand. When they finally approach that door, in their own season, by their own road, do you know what they will find waiting there? Someone who arrived early. Someone who held the light steady for years while they slept. Someone who never gave up on them, even when they mocked, even when they dismissed, even when they never once asked. They will find you. That is why you came first. Which brings us to what he asks of you. 3 things. First, stop trying to pull anyone through. You cannot carry a soul across a threshold. The teaching is clear, and honestly, your exhaustion already knows it. Arguing does not awaken anyone. Convincing does not shorten a path. What you can do is stand in the light and be visible, A lantern never chases a traveler. It simply refuses to go out. Second, release the comparison, finally and completely. Not with the person ahead of you, not with the person behind you. Your only true measure is whether you are still walking, and you are. You have been walking for years, often uphill, often alone, often in the dark. That is the whole of what was ever asked. And third, about what appears to be falling apart. You have watched old structures shake in your world, in your community, sometimes in your own life. The transmission addresses this directly. What appears as collapse is often only the loosening of what could not come with you. House looks like ruin when the scaffolding goes up. Perception decides everything here, beloved. Look at the same season with fear and you will see an ending. Look at it with knowing and you will see a threshold. Both eyes see truly. Only one lets you keep walking. He closes with this. Beloved ones, you asked us, in your hardest nights, why it had to be you. Why you were the one who woke early, who felt everything, who walked unmarked ground while others rested. Here is your answer. Because someone had to reach the door first and turn around. Because the second wave needed a first. Because the third wave needed lanterns. Because the ones you love needed someone who would still be standing there, still shining, when their own long walk finally brought them home. You were not burdened, beloved. You were trusted. And when the last of them arrives, when every soul you have ever loved has walked their own road at their own pace into the same light, you will understand what your early waking was for. The door does not close. And you were never walking alone. You were walking ahead. Now, tell me in the comments, which wave do you feel you came for? The first, the second, or the third? There is no wrong answer, and there is no better one. Somewhere tonight, another soul will read your words and finally stop believing they were late. Subscribe and turn on notifications so the next transmission finds you. And if you've also been feeling the physical signs of this shift, the tiredness, the 3 a.m. waking, the waves of causeless peace, there's a transmission on the channel about exactly that. Many of you have said the two belong together. Until then, stop comparing. Keep the lantern lit. And when you think of the people you love who are still asleep, remember what you now know. Nobody is lost. Some are just still walking. And you'll be there when they arrive.